Right, hello, welcome to episode 3 of Airsoft Pro Tips. Now in this episode we're going to be talking all about getting your first gun. Now this was my first gun. Started life as a classic armies, had loads of different parts added to it over the years, different gearboxes. It's now a bit of a hybrid, but either way this was my first gun. Got it with the 203 on it as well. Wasn't cheap by any means. In hindsight I would have bought a cheaper gun to start playing, but I didn't know that on the time. Now, the thing about M16s is, first of all, they're very, very well balanced. There isn't much weight at the front. Well, there isn't too much weight at the front. There isn't too much weight on the back either. If you stand it upright, it will actually stand up just by itself. But, you know, they are a good gun because they're a nice intermediate weight. They're not too heavy, they're not a full-length AK, but they're also not too light that you're going to be, you know, floating them around everywhere. They've got a good bit of heft to them. But, more importantly than that, they take M16 mags. Now, you know, a lot of guns take M16 mags, and that's the exact point. Think about it. When you go down to an airsoft field, take a look around you. How many times do you see someone with an M16? Lots, because M16s are a very, very common gun. Now, say you're in a position where you are, you know, defending, fixed position for a long period of time, you know, firing away, you're getting through your ammo. When you run out of ammo, what are you going to do? If you've got an obscure gun, say you've got like a grease gun or something like that, which takes a very specific kind of mag, if you say, has anyone got a spare mag, everyone's going to say no, because no one else has the same gun as you. If you've got an M16 or M16 derivative, say if anyone got an M16 mag, someone's going to have a mag like this, pop it in, and you're back in the game. Nice and simple. Now, a lot of people don't like the M16, a lot of people don't like how it looks, don't like, you know, the connotations of it being an American gun and all the rest of it, which is, you know, fair enough, not everyone likes the M16. But there's no reason why you can't go for something like this. Now this is a G36, don't believe this is the carbine version. I think this was the full length version, but it's been converted with the rears. Also we've taken off the long barrel and we've put a much shorter, stubbier, close quarters barrel on it. Now as you can see, it's got a nice folding stock, it's got a nice length to it when you're going close quarters, when you want those long range shots. Pop the stock out, you know, nice and accurate, nice and stable. But this one has a bit of a trick, because this one has a magwell conversion, converting it to M16 rounds. Sorry, to M16 mags even, I should say. So again, same thing. You know, you're in a firefight, you need a spare mag, someone's going to have one of these. G36, fairly common gun, not as common as an M16. You know, chances are you're not going to find a G36 mag in a firefight, or, well, maybe you will, but you're less likely to. But chances are someone is going to have one of these. So, what about good old AK? Now, I absolutely love my AK. This one is a SEMA version, or at least it started life as a SEMA version. No internal modifications, just external. Painted this bit, got a new barrel for it because I like the look of the nice flush barrel rather than big barrel silencer that they, sorry, big suppressor that they've normally got. Flash suppressor, I should say. Now, full length AK, I do not like the full length AK. It's way too long. It's way too heavy for me. I just don't like the feel of it. It's too front heavy because of all the metal and wood up front. You know, it's a bit too weighty for me. But this one, much shorter, nice folding stock on it, but also the stock is a skeleton stock, so it doesn't have much weight to it either, and I find this a fantastic gun. Uses AK mags, big, nice capacity mags, so, you know, as a starting gun, I would recommend one of those. I would recommend something which is an AK, because these are nice and robust, nice metal, nice wood, no plastic which you're going to break when you slip on, and yes, you are going to fall over at some point. You're playing in mud, you know, on slopes. If you're hardcore and you want to play through the winter and play on ice and snow, you know, we've all done it, you will fall over at some point. And a plastic framed gun might not take that kind of weight hitting on it. Something like this, you know, gonna get up, dust it off, and you're back in the game, you know, ready to go. Alright, so let's talk about taping your mags. Now this particular AK, as you can see, at the moment has 2 mags taped together. Now these are taped in a 1 up, 1 down configuration. Basically what it means is I've got 1 mag lip at the top, 1 mag lip at the bottom, so I can fire away, then when I need to reload, flip it over, lock it in, ready to go, back in the game. But AK mags are already pretty big. Now when you take 2 of them together like this, bear in mind you've got to leave at least a little bit of a gap at the top, else it's not going to feed in your mag rod properly. Big mag, probably not going to fit in any mag pouches, so you've got to think about how you're going to carry them. Now, a lot more people like to tape M16 mags together in this kind of configuration, 1 side by side. And the amount of people who I've seen do this, tape them directly side by side, because you go to put this in your gun, it's not going to go in. For the simple reason that there's no hole there, there's no gap. And because there's no gap, it's not going to go over the lip in your mag well. So, what you can do is tape them in this V formation. And the way to do this is by rolling up a little bit of cardboard and sticking it in the middle. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And then taping the very bottom of the 2 mags together. Now the reason we do this is because it's squishy. So you can squish it down, get it in a mag pouch, but when you pull it out, it springs back to that V shape. And the V shape will clear your mag well, allow you to fire, but also get that nice quick changeover, but also squish it back down, drop it in your dump pouch afterwards. Okay, so let's talk about different mag options. Now, 2 most common ones you're going to see on the field are these. These are what we call mid caps, i.e. mid capacity magazines. Now, these don't have any kind of winding cog, and they've got 1 big spring that goes all the way around on the inside and comes back up. So basically the ammunition they hold is how much you can fit in there. Now different size magazines hold different capacities. These ones hold about, I think, 120 rounds. Some of the bigger AK ones hold up to 150 or even higher. Some of the smaller ones, like my MP5 mags, these ones hold about 90 rounds by comparison. So what it really comes down to is how big the mag for the gun would normally be, because you can only fit as many rounds as you can fit in 1 single spring load. So, you know, these are quite a common sight. But also, these are an even more common sight. Now these are what we call winding mags. They've got a big hole there where you pop your BBs in, and these can hold between about 300 and 500 rounds depending on the size of them. Some of them hold a bit less, some of them hold a bit more. But they've got this winding wheel at the bottom. Some of them use a slightly different mechanism, but they're all the same principle, which winds them from this reservoir up into here. So you load one of these into your gun, and every 100 rounds, instead of swapping mag, you just wind it a bit. Keep on firing, full auto, single shot, whatever you want to do. Wind it up again, keep firing, winding, firing. You know, you only change it when your 300 odd rounds have run out. Now, that's all well and good. You also get things like these, which are called low caps. This is a gas one, but we'll talk about gas guns in a moment. Now, low caps holds, well, probably less than 100 rounds. This particular one holds about 60. You also get what we call real cap mags, like, for example, okay, jump cut there because I got the, I couldn't find my pistol. So this one uses what we call a real cap mag, in that it's got very low capacity. It's only got the capacity that the real gun would actually have. But also you get things like this, big winding C mags, box mags, various other ones. Come in all different versions. This particular one is an M16 version. Lots and lots of ammo capacity. I think this one holds 2,000 rounds. I've got ones which hold 2,500 rounds. You can get them bigger, you can get them smaller. Now, one of these as tempting as it might be, you know, not having to reload, just sit there in a position all day firing away. Now, the gearbox in one of these guns isn't designed for that kind of fire, especially because when you've got more ammo, you're tempted to use full auto a lot more. Your motor's going to get hotter, you've got to be putting a lot more pressure on the gearbox itself. And it's not a good idea to take one of these guns and full auto it too much, for the simple reason that it's not designed to full auto all the time. Get yourself a support gun if you want to do that. But we'll talk about support guns more in a moment. Okay, let's talk about emergency reloads. Now, in the last video we talked about how to dump your mags. Like I said in the last video, you don't want to be spending a whole lot of money buying new mags before every game. But there may become times when, say for example, you are holding a fixed position, you know you're not going to move until you die. Doesn't really matter if you drop your mag on the ground because you're going to be there to pick it up afterwards. So, certain weapons, such as the AK, G36, MP5, have their mag release behind the actual mag well itself. And that means you can do something called an emergency reload, where you're bringing up, you're firing, then when you grab your new mag, you're using the tip of the mag to knock out the next mag. Because what you're essentially doing is sliding it along, letting the mag lip hit the mag release, knocking the other one loose, pushing it forward, clearing it out of the way, loading the new one in. Now, a little bit different with the MP5, and takes a little bit more practice, because with the MP5 you've got to twist the mag very slightly to dislodge the old one. But same theory. Now with the M16s, because of course you've got your mag release on the side, what you're wanting to do is hit it, push it forward, let your mag fly loose, and then putting a new one in. But it must be stressed that you only want to do this in times when you know you're going to be able to pick up your mags after the game. You don't want to do this when you're running around, because you know someone else may grab your mags, you may lose them. You don't really want to do that. Only do it at a time when you know you're going to be there to pick up your mags afterwards.